I Know What You Did Last Summer's post-credit scene lays the groundwork for the next entry in the series. Directed by Jennifer Katin Robinson, I Know What You Did Last Summer focuses on a new group of young adults in Southport who accidentally get someone killed on the 4th of July. A year later, they are hunted down by a mysterious killer who recalls the slaughter that took place in the original I Know What You Did Last Summer. Meanwhile, a previous generation of survivors still reckons with the trauma of their storylines. I Know What You Did Last Summer's ending brings those two generations into direct conflict, with the big twists in the climax completely upending expectations about the survivors. The post-credit scene of the film takes things even further, bringing back another classic character and teasing out how they could return to the franchise in a big way. Here's how the I Know What You Did Last Summer post-credit scene sets up a sequel that would pit different generations against one another. Brandy's Carla Wilson returns in I Know What You Did Last Summer's post-credit scene. Carla Wilson teams up with Julie for a new adventure. Jennifer Love Hewitt's Julie and Brandy's Carla looking worried with a blood message on the wall in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Carla Wilson returns in I Know What You Did Last Summer's post-credit scene, confirming Brandy's presence in the potential future of the franchise. Carla was introduced in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer as Julie James' college roommate. Traveling to the Bahamas with Julie after she seemingly wins a radio contest, Carla is one of the targets of Ben and Will. Carla actually survives the encounter, although her boyfriend Tyrell is among the casualties. She doesn't appear in the actual plot of I Know What You Did Last Summer, but she does factor into the post-credit scene. The moment reveals that Carla has done well for herself, seemingly getting married and living in a nice house. The post-credit scene focuses on Carla watching the news and seeing that Julie was attacked by Ray. Not long after, Julie arrives at Carla's home. It turns out someone has been threatening Julie again, leaving threatening notes. The latest includes a clear threat towards Carla, prompting her to offer her help in tracking down whoever sent the letter. The moment is a fun reference for fans of the series, especially in light of Carla's status as a fan-favorite survivor and a highlight of I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. While it didn't make sense to bring her into 2025's I Know What You Did Last Summer, it's a clever way to confirm Brandy's importance in a prospective sequel. What I Know What You Did Last Summer's credit scene means for a sequel. There's clearly a plan for where a sequel would go next. Notably, Carla isn't simply relegated to a cameo or a small appearance in the new film, but set up to be a major figure in the narrative if it continues. I Know What You Did Last Summer, despite having clear character connections to the previous films, is very much focused on a new group of characters. Julie and Ray are important to the narrative, but in much more supporting roles than taking center stage themselves. However, a sequel would seemingly focus on the fallout of Ray's death and the apparent survival of his protégé, Stevie. A member of the main young adults in I Know What You Did Last Summer, Stevie and Ray are the killers. The threat against Julie and Carla seems to be focused on something Julie previously did. It would make sense that Stevie, who Ray heavily implied had survived his attempt to kill her earlier in the film, would want revenge on Julie for helping Ava kill him. It seems that any sequel would focus on Carla and Julie's new team-up, throwing them up against a potential fresh threat like Stevie. After seeing the younger and older generation of survivors in this franchise team up, it would be interesting to see a new breed of killer come after the more experienced survivors like Carla and Julie. This also suggests that a sequel would be more evenly split across the generations. The new I Know What You Did Last Summer is very much rooted in the story of Ava and her friends. While Ray and Julie's lingering trauma and internal hurt are connected to the film's themes, the movie isn't really about them. By putting Carla and Julie directly in the crosshairs of whoever sent Julie that message, the post-credit scene seems to be firmly establishing that a follow-up would center around the older women. It would also likely include their attempts to figure out who is trying to target them, why they're doing it, and how to make them stop. It's an exciting turn for fans of the series, as Carla provides a fun back and forth with Julie similar to the dynamic developed between Ava and her best friend Danica. A potential sequel story could be a fun way to highlight a generational divide, but a shared response to trauma and danger. Brandy's return sets up a very fun sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer.